بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. Continuing inshallah, as we said, the book of As-Siyam. We have done, two of the three chapters of the Siyam. From Al-Wujub, when the Psalm of Ramadan starts, and we were talking about the moon sighting versus other options, and we mentioned of that the evidence, especially the evidence from the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then we said about the option for those who could not fast and what will be the ruling, concerning those people who are like old age or pregnancy, etc. And then we studied the chapter concerning what really void or annul the fasting, and what also obligate al-kafara, the expiation. And that was a special also paragraph that was related to the intercourse in Ramadan, which according to the madhab obligate only this action of breaking the fast obligates the kafara. You wanna fix it? Jazakumullah. And I think today we should start from Babu ma yukrahu wa yustahabbu wa hukm al-qada. That's what we stopped, right? So we have finished the fasl, the intercourse, and in Ramadan, and then we have finished all of that. So we will be starting today from the chapter ما يكره ويستحب وحكم القضاء. What will be disliked during the fasting, what is recommended during the fasting, and what are the ruling concerning al-qada. Al-qada'u, of course, the making up the days missed in Ramadan. طيب. Now, one of the facts that is very important to mention, especially when we study the comparative opinions among the scholars, is every school of thought has its own principles. And based on those principles and some of the rules that they take in their school of thought, that leads to specific opinions. And those specific opinions will make them to be very characteristic to this school of thoughts. Like I mentioned before, the example of the role that the letter waw plays in the sentence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم اغسلوا أرجلكم. This way, so when you're going to go to the prayer, wash your faces, and so where is and? But this well, it means just to bring together all the actions, or also the well has the to imply also at-tartib, the order. The school of thought, those who took the waw also imply the order, they make the order to be an obligation. The school of thought who thinking that the waw is only atifa, bring things together, but does not mean that things need to be the order. So they didn't make the order of the or the sequence of the action in the wudu to be obligatory, like the Hanafi school. Therefore, you find the Hanafi school, every time you see a hukum related where the evidence has waw, they will not take the sequence in consideration, because in their principle of their school of thought, the waw is not for at-tartib. Here, for example, in the book of the Siyam, one of the aspects that leads to the differences of the opinion. Yeah, that's the difference of opinion. A pin or or a tape. Depends on the school of thought. Traditional school of thought, they will say pin. Modern school of thought, they say tape. You know what they call it, that gray one that tapes everything? Duct tape. You should bring duct tapes. You can stand there holding it if you want. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. It's a pen that requires a pen. Alhamdulillah. We'll wait for Mahmoud. So this is aspect that is very important. It is. Wait for Mahmoud. Do you have any question? For the fasting, I'll give the example for the fasting. What makes things to break the fast is to reach the throat or to reach the stomach. So the difference of opinion, you find those school of thought who think al-jawf starts from the throat. So anything that gets to the throat to break the fast. That's why we have the kuhl. He said if you find it tastes in the throat, so it break your fast. But the school of thought was saying that the breaking of the fast is in only when it reaches the stomach. Then for them, does not break the fast. Now, there's another type of difference of opinion. It's like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Kulu washrabu, right? So anything that break the fast needs to be from al-muftirat, from akl wa shurb. So someone, if he take like small pebbles and swallow it, does break his fast? Huh? I'm sorry? Depends. So when you say, if anything that get into the jawf break the fast, so this is definitely break the fast. That's what is in the madhab. But if you said we only have to limit it to the akl wa shurb, he has pins. He get pins. So this is going to be helpful. So if we try to come up with, an opinion to share, if someone will ask you a question, which one you will choose? So for example, we say everything that get inside the body, al-jawf, break the fast. The other one is saying, no, if it's not from the nature of food, it does not break the fast. The first opinion, it get onto, the principle of anything that get the body without getting farther into the analysis and the wisdom. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Hadith Qudsi said, or in the Prophet ﷺ saying, reporting on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the one who continued to backbite and everything, whatever he gave up from food and drink, is like only gaining from that, just be starving. And the other hadith, he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, he left his food and his drink for me. And then his reward is going to be when I meet him. So everything is related to the food and to the drinks, to the thing that the body needs, that's the body desire. Someone is in a storm, a wind or like sandstorm, and he gets like into his mouth and swallow it. We said, according to the madhab, where it said anything that get inside the body, it caused the breaking of the fast. So this one, he break it, unless we go to the other way, like he didn't do it intentionally, and it was something that is out of his control. Therefore, we say yes, that's fine. But that's why we studied that Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, as long as not from the nature of al-sharab wal-aklu, al-aklu wal-sharab, then it does not break the fast. And we believe this is a stronger opinion in a way that no one will take a stone and swallow it just thinking to eat. So if something being swallowed, such a thing like that would not cause the breaking of the fast. And this is, subhanAllah, how we see our scholar, rahmatullahi alayhim, how they build their opinion based on principles. So it's not things are random, based on evidence, and this evidence being analyzed, and they lay down principles, and based on the principle they find. That's why every school of thought is very coherent in their opinion. You don't find opinion kind of opposing each other. You find all opinion based on one principle of the madhab. طيب باب ما يكره ويستحب وحكم القضاء. باب ما يكره ويستحب وحكم القضاء. نحن when we say الكراهة والاستحباب, the difference between المكروه and الحرام. الحرام, what its action is haram, therefore the action or doing it leads to be blamed and punished. As for the makruh, anyone who commit the makruh, he will not be blamed and punished, but not doing it leads to be rewarded. Leads to be rewarded. والمستحب, doing it rewarded, not doing it is not gonna be blamed. So that's the difference between al-makruh wal-mustahab, and the differences when al-makruh differ from the haram, and al-mustahab from the wajib. That is not obligatory to do it for al-mustahab, but doing it leads to be rewarded, and al-makruh is not forbidden to do it, but not doing it is going to be someone be rewarded for it. قال ويستحب, المستحب also المسنون from the sunnah, because some scholars they make the difference between al-istihbab was-sunnatu, but according to the madhab, al-mustahabu is a sunnah. Al-mustahabu is a sunnah. It's what the Prophet ﷺ did, but he didn't order to do as an obligation. وحكم القضاء, القضاء is to make up the days non-fasted during the obligatory days, Ramadan. Now, from the karaha during the fasting, قال يكره جمع ريقه فيبتلعه. يكره جمع ريقه فيبتلعه. What's the meaning of this? He said, it is disliked for someone to gather his saliva together and then he swallow it. Makruh. When you say makruh, it means that does not break the fast, but is makruh. And here when he said yukrahu, is disliked, kind of also implying that there's another thought that they say it does break the fast. But when you say yukrahu, to oppose an opinion that is being saying that it is forbidden, or actually break the fast. According to the Sharah here, he said it would not be suitable to oppose an opinion that which opinion was not founded on an evidence. For example, an opinion say if someone will swallow his saliva, then he broke his fast. You can say no, he say might makruh, but it does not. But we say, why do you say makruh? Why? Because he said that it does break the fast, right? We're saying, subhanallah, we're saying, someone should not base a hukum of makruh by opposing a hukum that is haram, unless that hukum that is haram, it has kind of an evidence, but the one who's saying makruh, it has a stronger evidence. And then the Sharah here is saying, قال وعلى هذا فنقول لو جمع ريقه فابتلعه فليس بمكروه. ليس بمكروه. Because when you say makruh, is like the fasting kind of you reduce from its ajr. You reduce from its completion, from its perfection, the way that someone is doing it. When you say makruh in it, kind of you diminish from its all, let's say, performance in this fasting. And this is the sharh as we're referring to. The author is Al-Shaykh ibn al-Uthaymeen, rahimahullah ta'ala. Also, when you read back what the author said, it also means if someone will swallow his saliva without gathering the saliva in his mouth and then swallow, so without jam'ihi, without collecting the saliva, if he just swallow the saliva, it's not makruh, because the makruh, according to the author, is related to collecting the saliva into the mouth. Why? Because some other thoughts, opinion that said that it does break the wudu, the fasting. قال وعلم من كلام المؤلف أنه لو بلع ريقه بلا جمع فإنه لا كراهة في ذلك وهو ظاهر، وعليه فلا يجب التفل بعد المضمضة ولا بعد شرب الماء عند أذان الفجر ولا عند تجمع الريق بسبب القراءة. Based on that, someone he's not entitled to spit after the gargling the water in his mouth. Also, he's not supposed, entitled, or being commanded to do such an action after drinking the water in the time of suhoor. Because some people, they overdo it. He said, drank the water and then the adhan fajr, and he want to spit everything, just to empty or to get rid of any taste of the water that he has in his mouth. That is not, it's not, no one is entitled to do it based on this hukum. ولا عند تجمع الريق بسبب القراءة. Sometimes someone is reading, for example, Quran, and this reading may collect the saliva into his mouth. So someone, he's not like after reading he has to spit out the saliva, while believing that if he will swallow the saliva is going to break his fast. There's no such a thing. And that's why here the opinion in commenting this first sentence of al-karahatu related to collecting the saliva in the mouth and then swallowing it, it's not makruh. It's not makruh. And we said the author here said makruh to oppose an opinion that said haram. The next حكم قال ويحرم بلع النخامة ويفطر بها ويبلع ويحرم بلع النخامة. What is النخامة? النخامة is kind of saliva mixed with the mucus. They call it spitum, something like that. You know what is spitum? Well, they said it here in English. What they call it? So you know what we're talking about. Okay. We don't want to go in details because it's not something that anyone wants to hear about. طيب. Swallowing such saliva mixed with the mucus, let's call it in Arabic. You know what it means now. النخامة, if someone swallow it, it breaks his fast. Spiro? Okay. Spiro. Yeah, we have it in the dictionary. Spiro of also sputum. Nukhama in Arabic. You know what we're talking about. طيب. قال ويحرم بلع. I mean, it's haram to. Why is haram? Because it's going to break the fast. قال ويفطر بها فقط إن وصلت إلى فمه. When it's going to cause the breaking of the fast, if you swallow it. If when it comes, from out the body, from the brain, and gets out in the mouth, and then he swallow it. But if someone, feel that mucus, and then swallow it without getting out of the mouth, that is all inside. Nothing have to do with the fasting. That's why he said, قال ويفطر بها فقط إن وصلت إلى فمه. Because this comes out of the mouth, someone have to spit it out. So swallowing it back, it caused as I said, it caused the breaking of the fast. Now there is another opinion, which according to the Sharah is the strongest opinion. So this sputum, if it comes out of the mouth, and even someone will swallow it, should not break the fast. Why? Because based on the principle of the other opinion that this is not food. So as long as it's not from the type of food of drinking, as we mentioned, this is the principle that underlined by Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah in this مسائل. قال أنها لا تفطر أيضا ولو وصلت إلى الفم وابتلعها وهذا القول أرجح. He's saying this is the stronger opinion. Because قال لا يعد بلعها أكلا ولا شربا. But someone, if you ask the question, tell them don't do it. But if someone have done it and come ask you a question, you tell them inshallah khair, no problem. That's how you use the opinion to help people in their when they ask a question. وقوله قال ويكره ذوق طعام بلا حاجة ومضغ علك قوي ويكره ذوق طعام بلا حاجة ويكره ذوق طعام بلا حاجة. It's also disliked to taste food when it's not needed. So this is the list of the disliked one. Someone tastes food. It's like taste dates, bread, sauce. Except when someone he has a haja. Has a haja is like he's doing it for a need. How can we, example of needs? Like someone who's a chef, someone who's cooking. He wants to know if this require more salt or not. But he has to spare it, of course. The taste is makruh. To swallow it is haram. Jazakallah khair. Shukran. Barakallah. طيب. Why? Because if he tasted, he's kind of threatening or putting in jeopardy his fasting. But if he's in need, so he's going to do it with the precaution and just taste for the purpose that he tastes for, like this is still need salt or need things, is cooked or not, and then he spit it. قال والحاجة مثل أن يكون طباخا يحتاج أن يذوق الطعام لينظر ملحه. The necessity or the need here is like someone to be like someone cook, that he need to taste the food to see, the salt of it, or his sweetness, or someone he's buying something from the market. He wants to taste like that's what he, is the right quality or not. Or a mother that she's chewing some of the dates for the young, child who does not have teeth yet. So to put it in his mouth, so she has to chew it for him or for her. So these are needs that allow for someone to taste it. But if someone does not have any of these needs, so it becomes makruh. People sometimes they are very hungry or something. They start, taking like a fruit, and they will be smelling it the whole day. Like, I don't know if you saw these people. People they have like fresh and apple, and you see him like the whole day smelling them. Yeah, I saw them. He was young back home. Everyone has like fruit. The other one orange, and like in the street, like people they choose something just to be patient. I mean, that's makruh. All of it is makruh. To help themselves, wait for the time of the adhan. قوله, then the next one that is makruh here, ومضغ علك قوي. ومضغ علك قوي. مضغ is to chew. علك is the gum. قوي, القوي, the one that is hold together. Because some of the gums, when someone starts to chew it, it becomes like break into very small pieces. But the other gum is like stick together. It becomes only one piece, big piece in the mouth. So we are talking about this type of gum, and this type of gum they call it ilka, al-luban. You get from it in Ameur, the luban. The one that it breaks down into small pieces, that's actually haram to get it. Why? Because as it will not gather and collect in one piece, then there's this risk for those small pieces to go with the saliva and then someone can swallow them. But the karaha here is related to a gum that is qawi. الذي يتفتت, that's the one is out of the question. واضح؟ قال والقوي هو الشديد الذي لا يتفتت. And the one who breaks down and degenerate, that can go with the saliva and to be get to the stomach. There is no karaha if the gum does not have a taste. And some people who have some disease and they want to fast, they need some time with this gum. Why? Because the fasting make their tongue and mouth to be hard, and that causes dryness and might cause no, people who have diabetes, they have a problem with that, which actually people like that, they should not fast. More than that, more than the dry mouth, they have like even a hard tongue. It becomes like all this part hard. Yeah. So the gum help them to keep it soft, to keep it soft. Some disease, yeah, to keep it soft. If it doesn't have taste, then there's no karaha. It have a small taste, then he should not. If he swallow the saliva mixed with this taste, then it break the fast. Especially the gum that we have in the market today, those are forbidden because that's the taste is very strong and is mixed with the saliva. Someone will easy to get them. As long as he doesn't swallow them, then we say he's makruh. But there's another aspect that someone need to be watchful of it. The people who are watching this person, so it's also makruh to be done in front of people. Why? People, they do not know what type of gum you're chewing, and they don't know, maybe they say this person is breaking his fast and he doesn't have any decency to do such a thing, violating the way of Allah in front of everyone. So this is from al-istibra'ul din, for someone to protect his honor, to not do things that it might be doubtful for other people. But among people he knows, he will use it, but with the karaha based on what we have mentioned. You see, قال then قال وإن وجد وإن وجد طعمهما في حلقه أفطر. If he feel the taste of the gum in his throat, then that's break the fast. And mashallah, you can make the analogy of this hukum on the toothpaste. Exactly the same. So the toothpaste will be makruh, but does not break the fast. But if you find the taste of the toothpaste in one throat, then that caused the breaking of the fast. That's why someone put, for example, a little bit, and you make it like not like you do it like every day, but in Ramadan you'll be careful, and then he gargle and he rinse his mouth and everything to get all that taste out and not get it in his throat. قال وإن وجد طعمهما في حلقه أفطر ويحرم العلك المتحلل إن بلغ ريقه. المتحلل, those who degenerate, that who breaks. What page do you have? Huh? 1 4. ما شاء الله. Yeah. He call it mastic here. Dissolved mastic. It's not dissolved actually. It degenerated. It break into pieces. You know what we're talking about. You know the Luban, right? That white Luban. The best one is made in Somalia. You know that. The most expensive one. I said to the thing, I said, why is it expensive? He told me from Somalia. It's like something big. I said, oh, okay, I'll take it. Somalia, I'll take it. But those, some of them, when you try to chew it, it breaks into pieces. And then it doesn't collect into one piece. That's one is haram. That's al-mutahallil. And then mix with the saliva and easy for someone, he get it into, swallowing it, and maybe without even noticing that. The next action that is makruha. ويحرم العلك المتحلل إن بلغ ريقه. I mean when it's mixed with his saliva. وتكره القبلة لمن تحرك شهوته. The kiss is disliked for one category of people, which is mean is not disliked in Ramadan. قال لمن تحرك شهوته. The person who the kiss will cause, his desire to be, cause it to be inflamed and cause to someone to lose his control. That is makruh on that person. Actually, it might be haram. Depends on the person. فهير الشارح give us 3 cases. قال القسم الأول ألا يصحبها شهوة إطلاقا. When someone kiss, because the kissing can be for the children, for the parents. The kiss that it has a question mark is between spouses. So the kiss that does not have any desire with it is not part of this حكم. مثل تقبيل الإنسان أولاده الصغار. There's nothing have to do with this. أو تقبيل القادم من السفر, kissing someone that just came from out of a long journey. أو ما أشبه ذلك. So this first category, the hukum of karaha is not even considered. Someone you didn't see him for a long time, and he see you came from a long journey, he want to hug you, said, this is makruh because I'm fasting. That does not happen. Token the kiss that caused the desire. So this one is not considered in the hukum. القسم الثاني أن تحرك الشهوة ولكنه يأمن من إفساد الصوم بالإنزال أو بالإمذاء. إذا قلنا بأن الإمذاء يفسد الصوم فالمذهب أن القبلة تكره في حقه. There's people who if he'll kiss, the kissing will be accompanied by, it might cause to break the fasting. The break the fasting by someone, for example, he will have al-inzal. Al-inzalu is to have the water coming out from the organs, and then the water, it might be mani or al-imda'u. Al-madhyu, according to the madhab, it break the fast. But according to the rest of the scholar, does not, because al-madhyu break the wudu, while maniyu break the ghusl, require a ghusl. So the madhyu is less like the mani. But here, according to the madhab, say, and we already talked about that. So this is the second category, or the second category. The third one, أن يخشى من فساد الصوم إما بإنزال أو بإمداء أن يفطر بالإمداء وسبق أن نصحيح له، فهذا تحرم الظن الإنزال. The third one, if someone, that action of kissing, these person, they know themselves, the action of kissing may lead to inzal. So for this type of people, is haram, the kissing. Then if we see the ahkam related, the first hukum, فلا شك في جوازها. The kissing, out, it does not have any desire, like, someone coming out of a trip, someone you didn't see for a long time, kissing the kids, kissing their parents, that's not considering this hukum. أما القسم الثالث فلا شك في تحريمه. The last one we mentioned is haram. Someone, if kissing is going to lead to inzal, breaking the fast, then it's haram. The makruh is the second one. The makruh is the second one. وهو الذي إذا قبل تحركت شهوته لكن يأمن على نفسه. The one who kiss, and he feel like his shahwa kind of increase his desire, but he feel like he's still in control of himself. In the control, not go excessive and go to a way that he cannot control it. So the qubla here لا makruha, but in reality is allowed. Is allowed. When we say karaha, for someone to be careful, but it is allowed. What is the evidence of that? قال لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يقبل وهو صائم. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم used to kiss his wives and he was fasting. وسأله عمر ابن أبي سلمة. عمر ابن أبي سلمة asked the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم عن قبلة الصائم وكانت عنده أم سلمة. Umar ibn Abi Salama, he asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about the hukum, the ruling concerning kissing during the fasting time. The Prophet and Salama, the mother of the believer, Salama, she was in their presence. فقال له سل هذه, their relative. He said, ask her, ask Salama. فأخبرته أن النبي يقبل وهو صائم. So Salama, she said, yes, the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم kissed his wives while he's fasting. فقال السائل أنت رسول الله قد غفر الله لك ما تقدم من ذنبك وما تأخر. So he's like, Umar ibn Abi Salam, he want to find an excuse. He said, you, O Prophet of Allah, O Messenger of Allah, Allah forgive you all the sins, past and future. So if you do such a thing, he's already forgiven. What about us? So the Prophet ﷺ told them, قالوا إني لأخشاكم إلى الله وأعلمكم به. No, I'm indeed the one who fear Allah the most among you, and the one who knows the most Allah among you. So nothing have to do is being forgiven or not. Because if something has a question mark, I'm the one who fear the most of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if there's something like you think, in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam who will be the first to not do it. So then he clarified for the hukum that is allowed and does not have any objection, except the makruh we said, because it might, kind of move the desire of a person. As long as he controlling it, then is makruh. But if he cannot control it, then it's haram, as we have mentioned. وهذا يدل على أنها جائزة. ويروى عن ابن عباس رضي الله تعالى عنهما أنه قال: ما أبالي قبلت امرأتي أو شممت ريحانا. He said, it's either, and whatever I do in Ramadan, I kiss my wife or I smell a nice smell, is for me the same. Which is mean, both of them, they give that joy of the nafs. Imagine when you smell something good, a nice smell flower, that good cheerful feeling it give you. So Ibn Abbas said the same feeling I have, it's either I kiss my wife or I'll have this. So this is in Ramadan is lawful. This is what you get, does not break your fast. وأما ما يروى عن أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم سأله رجل عن القبلة فأذن له وسأله آخر فلم يأذن له فإذا الذي أذن له شيخ والذي لم يأذن له شاب فحديث ضعيف. There is a hadith has been mentioned that someone asked him about the kissing. The Prophet ﷺ said yes, it's allowed, and another one asked him and he said no, it's not allowed. And then when they have come to follow up with this hadith, they found out that the first one who asked, it was an old man, and the second was a young man. So it becomes allowed for the old man and not allowed for the young man, and this hadith daif. And it cannot be an evidence for our hukum here. Okay? So the hukum, as we mentioned, the hadith that in al-Bukhari or Muslim of Salama, and also the hadith that we mentioned of Ibn Abbas, أخرجه عبد الرزاق في مصنفه. If we now قال next ويجب اجتناب كذب وغيبة وشتم. ويجب, and it is commanded, is commanded or obligatory to be away. اجتناب كذب. قال ويجب, it is obligatory to be away from كذب, lying, غيبة, backbiting, شتم, insulting and swearing. Because the purpose of the fasting is piety. Lying opposes piety. Backbiting opposes piety. Insulting opposes piety. So where the fasting? Because not eating, it helps the soul to be cleansed from, subhanallah, kind of the poisons related to this dunya. Because less food makes someone to be like more grounded, more humble. And that's what helps someone to be like easy for him, the truthfulness, better for him, integrity, etc. But someone fasting and lying, well, the purpose of the fasting between already conflicting by his action. So he's ruining his fasting by the action that he supposed by the fasting to prevent on himself. Al-ghaibatu is the backbiting, and the backbiting is to mention in someone's back with things that he does not like. Not lying on a person, no, things that he has and he does not like. قالوا ذكر أخاك بما يكره. الشتم is insulting and swearing and talking ill about a person or in his face. And these things are haram on the Saim. These things are haram on the one who's fasting. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. It's been prescribed, decreed on you the siyam, the fasting, as been prescribed on those before you, that you may gain piety. So the fasting is a mean to gain piety. This means you corrupted or is corrupted, is ruined by the action that oppose piety, like backbiting and insulting and lying. In the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, يقول: من لم يدع قول الزور والعمل به والجهل فليس لله حاجة في أن يدع طعامه وشرابه. قال من لم يدع قول الزور, whoever who does not, prevent himself or turn away or stop any action of saying of الزور. الزور is كذب, lying. قول الزور. قول الزور, every statement that is haram. قال قول الزور والعمل به, and he acting upon it. والجهل, being ignorant. الجهل السفاهة عدم الحلم. الجهل is like screaming, talking loud, bothering people with someone's voice in the markets. All of that is jahl. Insulting, swearing, all that's jahl. So if someone is doing like that, قال Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's not in need for this person to leave his food and his drinks. He's only starving this person. In some society, awkwardly, the people who are, kind of filled with wrath in the day of Ramadan, it seems that those are the good people. Those people truly fasting. People, when they say, don't talk to him, he said he's fasting. Like he becomes like a ball of fire. If anyone talk to him, people are grouchy, on the verge to explode. So people say, don't talk to this person, he's fasting. Oh, he's fasting. So people, they respect, not they respect because he's fasting, because anyone who's going to talk to him is going to be like a fight. So where's the piety here? I think you know what I'm talking about. People sometimes they have those small shops and they say, don't go buy from that person during Ramadan because those people, you know. So if somebody say, have, for example, a liter of things, so it says, I don't think this is a liter. Can you add a little bit more? Things like that. That's it. That's the end. It's like, this is Yawm al-Qiyamah. The person breaks everything and, you know, the whole market stops. The police comes and this, and then everything like get excused. You know, don't blame him. I mean, poor guy, he was fasting. Oh, he was fasting, poor guy. Why we became like that? Subhanallah. No, that's not the way of Islam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this type of people, Allah لا حاجة في أن يدع طعامه ولا شراب. Allah is not in need of this person for him to torture himself, to not eat during long day and not drink. And then he's on the verge of explosion, of killing everybody if it's possible. Why? Because he's fasting. He comes appear before the Qadi. Why did you do this? He said, oh, I'm sorry, Judge, I was fasting. Oh, okay. Bara, out. That does not work. Look this hadith. قال إذا كان يوم صوم أحدكم فلا يصخب. When it is the day of one of you is fasting, you should not make sakhab. Sakhab is like being grouchy, you know. Even people with their family, you know. People in their family, when they're fasting, is like, you know, is about the house to explode. Everybody need to be quiet. You know, the kids, they're scared. If the father, you know, his thing is not in his place, who moved this? That's it. Everybody's going to be like, what I صح ولا I'm saying? قال إذا كان يوم صوم أحدكم فلا يصخب. الصخب, being grouchy, screaming, you know, people are like yelling. All of that, that's not, subhanallah, from the suluk of as-sa'im. قال ولا يرفض وإن أحد سابه أو قاتله فليقل إني صائم. يرفض, like insult and saying, swearing. That's not from the behavior or the personality of the believer. And if someone insult him or try to fight with him, he will should tell him, I'm fasting. قال هنا مسألة. Some of the scholars are saying the saying of the statement that are haram, the backbiting and so on, that really break the fast. But Al-Imam Ahmad rahimahullah ta'ala, when he was asked about such a thing, قال إن الغيبة تفطر قال لو كانت تفطر ما بقي لناصية. So Imam Ahmad, he wants to say that everybody is doing that. So if the backbiting caused the breaking of the fast, so no one could even finish his fasting. But it is forbidden. Therefore, this is what we come to always understand in the action of worship. There is two parts. The part of the ada and the part of the ajr. The part of performing the action, observing it according to its condition, as a debt that you have to fulfill because you're an obligation. And there's the other part of the reward. anything that you observe according to the condition, its pillar and its sunnah, that is like you pay the debt. Will someone will be rewarded? Depends on the way how he observed it. The prayer, he made the wudu, he read the Fatiha at the first rak'ah, he make his ruku', his sujood, he make all the obligation, he fulfilled the condition. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell him, okay, the dhuhr of that particular day, it was fulfilled. Is it rewarded? The reward based on the concentration that he has in the prayer. He will not be blamed on the salat itself because he did it, but it might not be rewarded because the reward is related to how present was he in the prayer. If we make the same analogy on the siyam, he didn't eat from dawn to sunset. Is he going to be rewarded? Let's check. The siyam was prescribed to gain piety. This person gained piety. During the siyam, he was doing an action opposing piety. He was backbiting, gossiping the whole time, and that's how he killed. That's how they prefer saying the word, killed the time for the whole day before breaking the fast. So this person, as Imam Ahmed saying, just to understand the opinion, that he did it according to the condition. He didn't eat, he didn't drink, but is he going to be rewarded? That's based on how he observed it. طيب. قال هنا والسنة لمن شتم قوله إني صائم. This is the hadith as we mentioned. وَسُنَّ لِمَنْ شُتِمَ is from the sunnah when someone is insulted to say, I'm fasting. So people say, I'm fasting. لقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن امرؤ شاتمه أو قتله فليقل إني امرئ صائم. Should he say it loudly or just secret? He will say, he turn away and say, I'm fasting. He say it to himself or say it loudly so that person will listen to him. Some of the scholars, they said he should say it sirran. He said it to only himself. Others, they said, no, he should say it loudly for the person who insulted him to listen. Some of the scholars, they went farther into the analysis. فقالوا في الفرض يقولها جهرا. If it was an obligatory fasting Ramadan, he would say it loud because everybody knows that everyone is fasting. And if it was nafil, like Monday or Thursday, he's fasting, and someone want to provoke him, he said he should say it, sir to himself. He'll turn away and say, I'm fasting. Allahumma inni sa'am. To turn away from that person. Why he said some of the scholars, they were concerned about the riyah, showing off, because nobody knows that you are fasting. Someone will provoke you in a day like, Monday or Thursday or 3 days of the month, they say, Anni sa'im. So it's like someone is like openly saying, oh, I'm fasting. But in reality, some of the scholar, which is here Ashari who is going for, is saying jahran is better, to say it loud to the person, because the person insulted you. And he's saying it has two benefits when you say it loud. The first benefit, to clarify to the one insulted you, is like, I have the capability to say what you have said, but I don't say it. And someone who's not fearing you, It's not a way that I want to run away. No. Because I'm observing my fasting to Allah, I will not respond the way you acted. Inni sa'im. That's the one benefit. The second one, it also da'wah for the one who's talking ill to you, to remind him that Allah gifted you with a gift to help you hold yourself to not transgress as he's doing. So it's going to be a reminder for the person. When you say inni sa'im, it's going to hit that person. Said, look, he was better than me. He didn't even want to insult me back. Why? Because he's in a relation with Allah. He's fasting. And this can be a good reminder for that person. طيب. وتأخير سحور وتعجيل فطر. So this is the sunnah. لمن شتم قوله إني صائم. And to delay suhoor وتعجيل الفطر. So one of the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, that we're talking about the sunnah, تأخير السحور. السحور with the dhamm of the sin, which is the action of the suhoor. السحور with the fatha of the sin is what you eat during the suhoor. Exactly like al-wudu'u wal-wadu'u. Al-wudu' is the action of the wudu'. Al-wadu'u is what you use to make wudu', which is the water. The same. The same for tuhur. Al-tuhuru is the action of tahara. What tahur is what you use to make tahara. ماء طهورا. The evidence in delaying the suhoor and hasten in al-iftar قول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في البخاري وعند مسلم عن سهل بن سعد رضي الله تعالى عنه قال لا يزال الناس بخير ما عجلوا الفطر وأخروا السحور. People that will be still in good, they will be in good state as long as they are hastening to the fitr and delaying the suhoor. So this is, we have sunnah qawliya, sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When is the Maghrib time? 6. 6:05. This is sunnah qawliya, and we have the sunnah fi'liya of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He used always to delay his suhoor. وتعجيل فطر أي وسنة تعجيل فطر. أن تعجيل الفطر is المبادرة به إذا غربت الشمس. To hasten to break the fast when the sun sets. Not to wait for the adhan. The adhan marks the setting of the sun. If you see the sun, the setting of the sun yourself, you hasten to break the fast. That's why the one who going to call for the adhan, he'll break his fast before the adhan. So what marked the breaking of the fast is not the adhan, is ghurub shams. And it's not when it becomes dark, is when the sun, when you look at the sun, and the upper part of the sun will set, you don't see it. That's the ghurub. Even though the light is very strong at that time. That's the ghurub. Those who, subhanallah, like the fiqh according to the Shia madhab, they have to start to see the stars. That's for them al-layl. That's when they break their fast. نحن the sunnah الصحيحة عند الغروب. غروب الشمس. وتعجيل الفطر. And one of the wisdom, I'll ask you the question. Look at hadith of the Prophet. قال لا يزال الناس بخير. People that will be still in good. And بخير, it means like they are in a state of goodness. They are, showered with the barakah. That people of trust. That people who really, close to Allah. That's what بخير. That will be بخير. As long as they hasten their breaking the fast and they delay the suhoor. What's the wisdom here? How can be someone in a good state? I mean, the one who's starving during the day, he's holding the dates and the water, waiting for the adhan. I say, Allahu Akbar, you throw it, right? So I said, you are, mashallah, very close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the wisdom? Can we try to find the wisdom in this? There's, of course, a lot of wisdom, but one of them, especially in our time today. SubhanAllah, the wisdom here is moderation. Because as long as you follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, you'll be always in the medium and the moderate and the wasat. And the wasat opposed to excessiveness. Excessiveness leads to extremism. People, before they want to stray, when they want to say, oh, Allah gave us only 2 days to fast. We love Allah, let's make it 3 days. Generation after, they say, why 3 days? Let's make it 1 week. Generation after, they said, why 1 week? Let's make it 1 month. Generation after say 1 month is too much. They stop fasting. Excessiveness leads to be away from the path of Allah. Slowly, gradually. So the Prophet ﷺ gave you a gift to be always moderate. If you keep in that moderation, and the moderation not of what we think or what anybody else thinks, the moderation as defined by the Prophet ﷺ. So I say hasten, so you are hastening by command of the Prophet ﷺ, and you eat, you fulfill your siyam. And not only you fulfill your siyam, you are breaking your fast on a gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all of that, fasting, ibadah, breaking the fast, ibadah, and using the gift of Allah, ibadah. But when someone starts to make it excessive, say, we have to wait till it's very dark. That's to be sure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told you sunset, why you make it like night? And people, when it's suhoor, they make it like 2 hours before to be sure. You never know. What you never know is going to lead to a lot of never know, making the whole deen to be rigid. Not the deen, the practice of the deen to be rigid would make people, they don't want even to fast anymore. So that's, subhanAllah, one of the great wisdoms in the ahadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam, of course. طيب. وتأخير سحور, this is also as we mentioned. طيب. وتعجيل فطر. Then he said على رطب. Now he specified the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what type of food you should break your fast with. Of course, if you have it. الرطب فإن عدم فتمر. الرطب, the food. الرطب, if you don't find it, then you do tamr. What's the difference between rutab and tamr? Both of them are dates. الرطب, the very soft one. The soft one. Fresh and soft. And the light brown. Very light. التمر becomes darker and becomes like hard. That's the tamr. So the freshest and the one who's like very smooth, that's the ratb. Like the sukkari, that's in Medina. فَأُنْ عُدِمَ فَتَمْرٌ. And the rutab, it has a very short lifespan, and the season is very short for the rutab. But now, they store it and they have it in the fridge and the freezer, so you can find it the whole year. فَإِنْ عُدِمَ فَتَمْرٌ. This is the sunnah. And to have something sweet and smooth after a long day, that's, subhanallah, very beneficial for the body. فَإِنْ عُدِمَ فَمَاءٌ. If you don't find, then water. وَقَوْلُ مَا وَرَدْ. And to say the dua that is being narrated and known, that narrated by the Prophet on behalf of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. قال فإن عدم فتمر أي إن عدم الرطب فليفطر على تمر وهو اليابس. And then after the tamr, فما what we call al-mujbin. Al-mujbin is those tamr they store. They store in the big barrel. It becomes like stacked together, like you take it like, all stacked together. They assimilated or compared to the cheese when they stack together. They call the al-mujbin. That's why they call it mujbin from jibn. The Prophet ﷺ قال إذا أفطر أحدكم فليفطر على تمر فإن لم يجد فليفطر على ماء فإنه طهور. So the Prophet ﷺ in this hadith أخرجه أبو داود والترمذي وصححه أحمد. If one of you is going to break his fast, he should do it on tamr. If he does not find, then he'll do it on water. So this is from the mustahab. It's not an obligation, of course. This is the bab, the chapter that we are studying is al-mustahab. قال وثبت عنه من حديث أنس بن مالك قال كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يفطر قبل أن يصلي على رطب فإن لم تكن رطب فتميرات فإن لم تكن تميرات حسوات من ماء. The Prophet ﷺ, he used to break his fast before he prays on rutab, and if are not rutab, then dates. If they're not dates, he will, drink some water. So the priority in the al-afdal, the most preferred, are the dates and the water. If someone will not find anything, if he does not find anything, he will intend the breaking of the fast. That breaks his fast. But all what is being said, someone will put his finger in his socket and he say, I'm breaking my fast, or things like that. That does not have any evidence or any root. What about al-wisal? Because, someone to hasten to break his fast. But what if someone wants to continue the fasting for the next day? Some of the scholars, they say it is forbidden, others they say is makruh, and others they say is mubah, is allowed. And those who say it's haram because the Prophet ﷺ, he prohibited to his companion to do the wisal. And those who followed him, because he used to do the wisal, but he told them, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala feeding me? I'm not like you. And one Shawwal, the Halal Shawwal of the Eid, was cited. The Prophet ﷺ said, if the sighting of the Hilal was delayed, I will have add you into the wisal. I will have add you, cause you, or letting you do more fasting without breaking the fast. Here in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ was concerned about them not forbidding it. That's how the scholars are saying. Because they were fasting and they insisting on making the wisal. But the Prophet ﷺ didn't like it that they do it. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam concerning about their health, concerning about them, which is make the wisal to be kind of allowed but not recommended. And if we can say, the list we can say about the wisal is al-karahatu, that is disliked. And the best is to hasten to breaking of the fast. And whoever who want to make wisal, he should do it up to sahar. Because in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, قال فأيكم أراد أن يواصل فليواصل إلى السحر. At the sahar he should eat to prepare for the next day. وأما ثم قوله وقول ما ورد, and when he's breaking the fast he will say the masnoon of the dua. What is being mentioned as dua that the Prophet ﷺ used to say, the known dua, Allahumma laka sumt wa ala rizqika aftarт اللهم تقبل مني إنك أنت السميع العليم. This one of them. أخرجه الدارقطني. اللهم لك صمت وعلى رزقك أفطرت اللهم تقبل مني إنك أنت السميع العليم. To you, Ya Allah, I have fasted, and on your rizq, on your provision, I'm breaking my fast. Oh Allah, accept from me. You are the all-hearing, the all-knowing. Also, it's been said also, another hadith, which is like it, but for long days. They say this hadith is recommended for long days of fasting. قول اللهم لك صمت وعلى رزقك أفطرت ذهب الظمأ وابتلت العروق وثبت الأجر إن شاء الله. أخرجه أبو داود. الظمأ, thirst is gone. العروق, are wet, and the reward will be, insha'Allah, confirmed or granted by the will of Allah. طيب. When we come back after Maghrib, we'll continue the chapter by the meaning of al-qada. We try to continue the chapter, inshallah. How to make up of the qada of Ramadan. Any question before we go? Bleeding? Yeah, it is makruh because swallowing the blood, it caused the breaking of the fast. Is makruh because there's that presuming that someone can do that. Is makruh. But if it is an appointment that someone cannot move and it's been like, because sometimes someone goes to take an appointment, they say we have only opening in this time. Then, and it can be assimilated as someone is sick. Because sometimes people in pain and everything is under thing, he can actually break that day and make it up another day. But if he's or she's like fine and they don't swallow anything, then their fasting will be sound. But makruh. So if it's preferable to do it before or after Ramadan, but if there is no way, but it's been like the appointment just was fixed, فخير إن شاء الله. Yeah. Yes, well.
Question about the rain assumption. From location, when you go there, you might not see the sun anymore, but if you go to other locations, you might see the kind of sun. How are you going to judge it?
Well, you judge on the location where you are, because every location has its own sunset. That's why you call it Rabbul Mashariqi wal Magharibi. Every point has its own sunset.
About the starting of Ramadan, is it possible that maybe the started Ramadan like this Somali and here, when I start fasting, I want to have the way for the people here and now to begin their fasting.
The moon sighting is global, moon sighting. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمْ. And this is the madhab that we are studying. Whoever from Muslim witnessed the beginning of the month, it is beginning for everyone who is a believer and entitled to fast. If you hear in any country trustworthy, then you can follow them. And here the majority of the scholar in this town, they announce based on the announcement in the Muslim world of few countries trustworthy, trustworthy in their announcement and in their calculation of not calculation, in the way of the moon sighting. They announce about that, based on that.
You have to wait till, okay, we haven't heard that from our country. So even after the start of fasting, some people do that. I have to wait for my country to announce before starting fasting.
I know someone should not wait for his own country. No. Any country trustworthy. And it will be like, scholars and, those who announce it in the town that you are in. In the town that they are in, the scholar who announced it based on the moon sighting, you follow those scholars. Because there are some people that go through calculation. But when someone follow, which is the son of the Prophet ﷺ, the moon sighting, he will wait and he'll announce, or if he by his own self, he will check, it's been announced on the major Muslim countries, he will do it, inshallah. That's what we call Wahdatul Matala, global moon sighting. Jazakumullah khair. See you, inshallah, after Maghrib prayer. طيب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد، الأحكام التي تخص القضاء، الأحكام, the ruling that related to قضاء, and the قضاء is to make up for those days non-fasted. قال ويستحب القضاء متتابعا. ويستحب القضاء متتابعا. القضاء is an obligation. To make up the days missed is an obligation. But al-istihbabu, the recommendation is to do it, all of it together. For example, someone missed 5 days, he will make 5 days in a row, not like separate days. وَيُسْتَحَبُّ الْقَضَاءُ مُتَتَابِعًا. That's the one thing. Why? Because it's the closest to the way how someone was fasting in Ramadan. Ramadan wasn't like fasting one day and then after a week he'll fast 2 days. No, like every day he used to fast. So when he missed the days, he should make them up, all together. That's istihbab. Huh? That we say huna, the istihbab, what is recommended. And some of the scholars, they say someone need to hasten to do the qada. Hasten to do the qada. And one of the action of hasten, if you can say, is the fact to be done just after the Eid. Just after the Eid. At those people who do the Shawwal action. وقوله ولا يجوز إلى رمضان آخر من غير عذر. ولا يجوز إلى رمضان آخر من غير عذر. And it's not allowed to delay the qada to another Ramadan without excuse. So according to the author, the making up the qada must be done during the year before the next Ramadan, except someone has excuse. So we have an evidence which is very clear. قال فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. فعدة من أيام أخر, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't specify when these later days. Now the scholars, they make an ijtihad to make these later days to make up for the missed days during the year before the next Ramadan. Because accumulating days after years after years, is not going to be possible maybe for someone to do it. So to have, based on the ruling and the spirit of hasting to do the action, therefore you have a whole year to do it. قوله من غير عذر. Therefore someone, if he has an excuse, so he's not blamed to delay the making up of those days after the next Ramadan. As someone will be always traveling, or someone will be sick, or a lady, she's pregnant, or her pregnancy, long pregnancy, and after pregnancy she's like murdi'ah the whole year, so she has, there is excuse, she cannot make up for her days. وقوله ولا sorry قال ولا يجوز إلى رمضان آخر من غير عذر. And it's not allowed to delay the qada to another Ramadan when someone does not have an excuse. There's a mas'ala, there's a difference of opinion between the scholars. If someone has a qada, can he make the nafila before the qada or not? Someone has to make up days and he wants to pray, to fast days, voluntary fasting, like the case for Shawwal. Can someone make Shawwal while he didn't have makeup for the days missed in Ramadan? Here we have two sayings. The saying is said you cannot put the voluntary action before not making the obligatory one. They say you have to make the qada and then you do your nafilah. Some other scholars, they said no, you are allowed to do the nafilah. And here, if we take 1 year, and this I like the analogy, if you take 1 year to make it up, then you have a flexible time. The time is flexible here for the whole year. And the analogy, they give you the example of the prayer. For example, the dhuhr starts at noon and ends at 3. You can pray as many nafilah as you want as long as you're going to pray dhuhr before 3. Right? So if you have the time to make up for Ramadan, for the whole year, so you can make as many nafilah as you want. So this is the analogy of the other scholar, and there's other opinion. And then some nafilah, their time is muhaddid, and the qada is time is flexible. Muhaddid is limited. For example, you cannot make the Shawwal only in the month of Shawwal. And then the qada you have for the whole rest of the year. According to the madhab here, to the author, no, you cannot make Shawwal if you didn't make qada. Why? Because one of the analysis saying it's not about this mas'ala, can you do the nafil about qada, but in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, قال من صام رمضان ثم أتبعه, whoever who complete the fasting of Ramadan and then you follow it with the fasting of 6 days. So complete the fasting of Ramadan. How can someone make the 6 days of Shawwal when he didn't complete Ramadan? Because he has days to make up. But again here, and those who saying, okay, so what if someone cannot make the qada at that time? What about Shawwal? So here they have a way out to not deprive any believer from the benefit of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He said then he has to make the qada, and after making the qada, he can make the qada of Shawwal in later months. But this has kind of, as you see, an effort of ijtihad of opinion. But the other scholar, they saying, you made Ramadan and the day missed, you have an excuse why you missing them. And the Sharia give you the time to make them up for a whole year. Therefore, when you are facing Shawwal or any nafilah that you want to do, like for example, fasting the day of Arafah, fasting the day of Ashura, and you didn't make yet your qada. Here the scholars say, as long as you have enough time or later time is possible to you by the sunnah, by the evidence, then it is allowed to advance the nafilah on the qada. And this is the summary of the mas'ala. If someone can make the qada as soon as he can, that will be the best, because that's the farida. If it was not the possibility for this person, and then he's facing to, for example, Shawwal, or there's the day of Ashura or the day of Arafah, therefore, taken with the second opinion, he will fast them and then he will make later the qada, as long as, according to the author, to not go beyond a year, beyond the year, which is mean the coming of the next Ramadan. Now, if someone say, what is your dalil on delaying the qada? The dalil is in the ayah of the Quran. قال ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. To make it up in later days. Allah didn't say later days before the Ramadan next day. Say later days. Those later days can be extended to the whole span of a life of a human being. Later days. But then digging into the Sunnah and seeing the action of the companion and the saying of the scholars, it need to be done during the year. And this is because putting together later days with hastening to do the qada, then it need to be done before the next Ramadan. Unless someone has excuses. In the Sunnah, حديث عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها قالت كان يكون علي الصوم من رمضان فما أستطيع أن أقضيه إلا في شعبان. Look, I'm sorry, the hadith, the wording of the hadith. She said كان يكون علي الصوم من رمضان. I used to have days to make up for Ramadan, missed days in Ramadan. فما أستطيع. I could not actually make them up only in Shaban. ما أستطيع أن أقضيه إلا في شعبان. So is that Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha telling us that she kind of had to make the extra effort because she has excuses to not make it before Shaban, but it seems from the hadith, it's revealing to us that she could not have delayed it after Ramadan. Because Shaban is like the end of the days of making up these missed days. After Shaban is going to come Ramadan. So she said, كان يكون علي الصوم من رمضان. I used to have days to make up for the past Ramadan. And I was not be able to do it till Sha'ban. So till Sha'ban, when she said till Sha'ban, it will mean that it was not allowed to delay it after the next Ramadan. And that's why, based on that, some of the scholars, they make it in a way to have people hasten to do the qada by making kind of fence of ahkam. Fence of ahkam. What are these fence of ahkam? Look what he said. قال ولا يجوز إلى رمضان آخر من غير عذر فإن فعل, if he does, فعليه مع القضاء إطعام مسكين لكل يوم. If he then delayed after the next Ramadan, then every day that he fasts for one missed day, he has also to feed a miskin. Fasting plus feeding. So you see the fast of the ruling to have people hasten to do it before the next Ramadan. Yeah. He's saying الإطعام فجبرا لما أخل به من تفويت الوقت. So why the إطعام is kind of to make al-jabr, to correct in a way, to patch the defect that being caused in his worship by delaying after the next Ramadan. There's a hadith which is very weak and cannot be an evidence in which it was related the siyam and the it'am. And also been narrated that Ibn Abbas, Abi Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, they used to obligate the feeding. And what is being narrated on behalf of Ibn Abbas and Abi Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhuma is from Bab al-Tashdid, to be rigid on people and not rigid to make it hard for them. But as I said, to build the fence, to not have people make it like, be neglectful and not make up their missed days before the next Ramadan. The opinion that goes with the adillah, with the evidence, that only the person, even though he might, delay the making up after the next Ramadan, he only obligated to fast only, not to feed. Fast, not to feed. But as you see here, the author going with the author that we mentioned, قال فإن فعل فعليه مع القضاء إطعام مسكين لكل يوم. Another opinion that they obligate the feeding, not the fasting. You say he missed his opportunity to fast. But this is an opinion that is daif. So we have three opinions in this mas'ala. Whoever who make up the Ramadan, the missed days after the next Ramadan, and the strongest according to the evidence is to fast. As Allah qala min ayyam al-ukhar. The second opinion to fast and to feed. The third opinion to only feed. And this last one is really, because they're saying he miss his opportunity to fast, therefore he has to feed. And that, as we said, it's a weak opinion. قال وإن مات ولو بعد رمضان آخر وإن مات وعليه صوم أو حج أو اعتكاف أو صلاة نذر استحب لوليه قضاؤه. نعم. ولا يجوز إلى رمضان من غير عذر فإن فعل فعليه مع القضاء إطعام مسكين لكل يوم وإن مات ولو بعد رمضان آخر. So إطعام مسكين, the feeding, also is extended for someone who died even though after the next Ramadan and he didn't make up for his missed days. How can we as wali, as family for the deceased one, to make up for his days that he didn't fast in Ramadan? In this case, he will not be able to do it himself because he died. Then the feeding of the miskin will be the way to make qada for the one who passed away. Some of the opinion they say he need to feed 2 for every day. Why? Because he didn't make up the days, he waited for the next Ramadan. So like making up after the next Ramadan require it'am. And the second it'am, because he cannot fast, because he passed away. So he make 2 it'am. But in reality is 1 it'am. 1 it'am. Now we have some masail, we can mention them. If they didn't fast, if they didn't make up for their days, you pay for every day not fasted, one it'am miskin. No, for anyone. From anyone from the family. If someone wants to make tatawa to his friend who passed away. طيب. من مات وعليه صوم. The one who passed away and he has a صوم, fasting that he missed. قال إذا مر رمضان على إنسان مريض ففيه تفصيل. Ramadan, during Ramadan, the person was sick. So we have these cases. If his sickness is not from the type of the disease that someone hoping that is going to be cured, or actually it hoped to be cured, like someone awaiting that inshallah this sickness is going to recover. So this one, قال فلو استمر به المرض حتى مات فهذا لا شيء عليه. If someone is sick and then his sickness continued till he died, this one he does not have any days to make up because he has an excuse. In Ramadan he was sick. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, فَمَنْ كَانَ مريض, he break his fast. And then when he cure, he should make up. This person didn't recover, he died. Then لا قضاء عليه. واضح, لا قضاء عليه, this person. Someone, for example, gets like extreme cold in Ramadan. And then this cold turn into like more grievous and disease. And then he died. This person does not have qada. لا قضاء عليه. The second case, someone who was sick, wishing and hoping that this recover, and then he got recovered. Then he died after he got recovered before he make up his days. فهذا يطعم عنه كل يوم المسكين. This one, you feed a miskin for every day he didn't fast. After he died from his estate, from his tarika, from the legacy that he left. Or someone donate for. The third case, if someone has a disease for which he didn't, was the cause to not fast. And this type of disease is a chronic disease. This person, he has to feed the miskin from the beginning. Why? His disease is chronic. Therefore, from the beginning, he has to feed. طيب. وإن مات ولو بعد رمضان وإن مات وعليه صوم. Now, in general, after someone in Ramadan, but now he generalizing in the next, he said قال وإن مات وعليه صوم. Someone died and he has fasting in his dhimma. وإن مات وعليه صوم أو حج أو اعتكاف أو صلاة نذر. if he died and he has in his dhimma fasting or hajj or i'tikaf or salatu nadr, it is recommended or mustahab for his wali to do it on his behalf. Why we say is mustahab? Because it's not an obligation. We cannot obligate on the wali, and the wali mainly al-wuratha, those inheritors, the closest children and the parents and brothers and etc. We cannot obligate on someone to fast on behalf of someone deceased. It cannot be an obligation. It needs to be voluntary action from the person. Why? If it's an obligation, we are contradicting the principle of the Quran, وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةٌ وَزْرَ أُخْرَى. You cannot have someone to bear the burden of someone else, even the child of his parents. So if the parents didn't fast, you cannot obligate on the child to fast. But it is recommended. If the child prefer and opt to fast, that it will be from the birr that he will give to his parents. That's why قال استحب لوليه قضاؤه. And here, all what he mentioned in the end are nadhr. And nadhr is to vow to do something. And hadith Aisha, من مات وعليه صوم صام عنه وليه. Whoever who died and he has sawm not done, his wali should do it on his behalf. أو حج. So to tell us here that the wali and the qada, after, even though we are in the book of the fasting, but he given us as a generalizing for all the type of the worship. So if someone has a fast that's not done, his wali should do it for him. And he's not obligated, he's recommended. And if he will not do it, then they have to pay from his tariqah or someone donate the feeding of the miskin. For the hajj, the same hadith in Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that a woman asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, أن أمها نذرت أن تحج فلم تحج حتى ماتت أفأحج عنها. Her mother, she vowed to make the hajj, but she didn't do it till she died. She said, should I do it on her behalf? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam قال yes. قال نعم. And another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, he heard a man saying, لبيك اللهم حجا عن شبرمة. Oh Allah, I'm here to offer Hajj on behalf of Shubruma. So the Prophet ﷺ قال, who is Shubruma? قال أخ لي. He said, he's my brother or my relative. قال أحججت عن نفسك. Did you perform Hajj for yourself? قال لا. He said, no. He said, then make Hajj on yourself and then make Hajj on Shubruma. Another hadith, قال أن امرأة قالت يا رسول الله إن فريضة الله على عباده بالحج. The faridah, the obligation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on his servant to make Hajj. And the obligation of the Hajj, when it was revealed, it revealed in a time when my father, He's a very old man. He cannot even hold himself when he's riding. He cannot hold himself on a camel or any rakub. Should I make hajj on him? قال نعم. The Prophet ﷺ قال yes. And all of that is in a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He gave the parable like a dain. Because one of the companion, she asked the Prophet ﷺ about a worship not done by her parents. She said, should I do it? He said, don't you see if you have a debt, will you have paid it? She said, yes. She said, then the debt of Allah is the one who should be paid the first. So any worship not done by a person when he was obligated or vowed, it need to be done by the wali. Should be done by the wali and as an action. And if it's required payment and everything, then the payment can be done or should be done from his tarika. The same for the i'tikaf. Al-i'tikafu is to be in a masjid for, secluded in a masjid for a period of time in remembrance and in prayer, etc. So if someone vowed to do i'tikaf and he died, he didn't do it, someone else should do it on his behalf. أو صلاة نذر, or someone he vowed to pray particular prayer. واضح. نحن the salat nadhr, someone will do it on his behalf, but the rest of the salat cannot be prayed on behalf of someone who didn't pray. For example, someone said, oh, I vow to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if this happened to me, I will pray 100 rak'ah. That 100 rak'ah, if he died, he didn't do it, some of the wali can do it on his behalf. But someone didn't pray, a whole month, and he died, you say, someone, I'm going to pray on his behalf that whole month, that does not work. So we're talking, this is about the nadhr, because he vowed, he make on himself a debt, so you pay a debt. But the other one, that's nothing have to do with the debt. That's an obligation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The hadith that I mentioned about the analogy that the scholar they made concerning this nadhr of worship to be made up by one of the relative of the deceased one, hadith النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال أرأيت لو كان على أمك دين أرأيت لو كان على أمك دين أكنت قاضيته. Don't you see, if your mother has a debt, will you be willing to pay it? She said yes. She said that Dainullahi aqdu, then pay off the debts of Allah then. Here we finish the chapter of ما يكره ويستحب وحكم القضاء, and then next time inshallah we start باب صوم التطوع, باب صوم التطوع, the voluntary fasting inshallah ta'ala. Next time بإذن الله.